Hello, my name is Tadamba Agwendo, and I'm really excited to be part of the Feminist Leadership course. So far as to what I've learned, I'd like to say that I've learned a lot, but I'll mostly speak on intersectionality, and that was the playlist that was sent by Kimberly Crenshaw. I like how she said that feminism is a body that has different parts, and those parts, for example, are class, religion, race, and many more. But that goes into sort of what Dr. Jessie Kabwila was saying about the different types of feminism, African feminism, Euro-Western feminism, and also to recognize the fact that as much as we're all fighting inequalities, but there's also issues amongst ourselves as women that we're facing that are different. For example, African women, we can't just generalize that African women are fighting this, African women are going through this, as African women amongst ourselves also have differences. For example, a Muslim African woman and a Christian African woman could be going through different things. So it's also important, as Dr. Jessie Kabwila put it, to embrace diversity, to really see the differences amongst ourselves and to work through those differences. I really like how she also talked about unity amongst us as women. I really think it's important to unite as women. I think it's important to have each other's back. I think it's important to support each other. We shouldn't be the first people to drag each other down. I really think that's important. And as a takeaway message, I think I like how she talked about being well informed. I really think that's a very good point, and that's very necessary, to always be informed and always have information about issues that you're talking. I mean, we as feminists are trying to change the way people see things. So if we're trying to help people change, we need to have the right information. We need to have enough information to help people change their mindsets, to help people change those ways. We need to be well informed. We need to have our facts straight and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I learned, and I'm really excited to keep learning more.
Hello. So this week I have learned the importance of defining what African feminism is and celebrating the diversity that exists within its scope. So Dr. Jessie Kabwila defined feminism as a movement, a way of life, and our perception of things as feminists. And Jessica Horn, a Ugandan feminist from the YouTube series, mentioned that African feminism is many things because Africa and feminism in themselves are many things. So both really emphasize the fact that it goes beyond historic and academic writing. Professor from the literature provided, Professor Mikkel mentions that African feminism exists on a broad continuum, and usually this may not align with Western feminist ideals, and as such, there is an erasure of some women's efforts because they don't fit into the elite and educated dichotomy that is set by European, Euro-Western standards. So for me, it goes back to what Dr. Kabwila said, that we need to make sure that our footprints are seen in the state's history and that our stories are told, and that we respect and celebrate diversity. So that's what I've learned this week. My key takeaway is that representation is important. We need to show up. We're still in the trenches, as Dr. Kabwila said, and therefore we need to deal with, as African feminism basically deals with many oppressions, from sexualizing of African bodies to politics, as Professor Mikkel said. So we need more feminist policies. We need to emphasize peace, inclusion, and the celebration of diversity, to be honest. And we need to celebrate ourselves and the feminists that have come before us, no matter how big or small their work and effort seems. And we also need to master the art of being free, as Jessica Horn said. So and it starts with myself, as Dr. Jessica Kabwila said, that we need, the greatest journey is towards ourselves, and that resonated with me very much. And how can I use this knowledge? Well, the information from this week has really opened up my eyes that there's a bigger system that needs to be fought within the African context, and therefore I need to be more intentional in my fight against patriarchy, and as well as the fact that I know, and I also know that despite the fact that the system seems so big and scary, I am not alone in this fight, and this course is evidence enough. Hello.
Hi, I'm Tamika, and I'm here to reflect on the lessons that we had this week, and they were all fruitful, but the one that caught my attention is the lesson that we had with Honorable Jessie Kabwila. She talked about feminism in Africa in general, what feminism is, just introducing us to some of the things that we'll be doing throughout this course. And what really caught my attention, I think that two things. And before the lesson with Honorable, I read one of the books that you sent us, the materials you sent us by Gwendolyn, which talked about feminism in Africa. And it really complemented Honorable Jessie Kabwila's presentation about how we shouldn't let textbook definitions control us or drive us or tell us, but something that we should believe in, something that we should take into account ourselves, or we can come up with our own definition. And also I learned that as a feminist we shouldn't accept breadcrumbs, and an example could be the current cabinet that the new president has appointed, which is breadcrumbs to us feminism and women in general and women in politics, which is something that we shouldn't accept. Not at all. It's very unacceptable, and it's literally breadcrumbs, what Honorable talked about. And when it came out, I was so angry because I just had the lesson and this thing is happening, and I thought that with this the democracy in Malawi that has happened, things will change, but it hasn't. But we have to fight this, we have to change this, and it's us. And these lessons have helped me to stand up for women rights and women in politics, because it's something I want to venture in. And I think that's all I had for you guys, and I'm really happy to be a part of this. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I am Praise Madea, and in this week I have read about women, politics, and feminism. I have read that there's a difference between women in politics and feminists in politics. We can have women in politics, we can have women in parliamentary position, we can have women in decision-making position, but if they are not feminists, they cannot fight and advocate for women's rights. Hence, we need feminists in politics and we need feminists in parliamentary positions so that they should be able to fight for women's rights, and they should be able to destabilize the patriarchal norms entrenched in our societies. And I've also learned that as young feminists, we should not only put on makeup and lipstick, but we should also read the newspapers, we should also watch news so that we should have more knowledge, for knowledge is power. We need to stay awoke and education in order to bring that change. For we as the young feminists, we are the agent of change. So we need to take action in bringing out that change.
Hello there, my name is Keisha German. I am a junior at the University of Malawi, the Polytechnic, taking a Bachelor of Science in Mathematical Sciences, and I am majoring in Statistics and Computing. This week was my first week attending a leadership course that is hosted and run by the Gender Justice Unit in collaboration with the Young Feminist Network. One thing I have learned this week that I didn't know on Monday that I know now is that feminism can't be singled out. It's definitely in every human right. It's definitely interconnected. It's intertwined into every other human rights there is. I initially had the thought that feminism is only to do with issues such as gender-based violence, but with this course going on through this week, I learned that feminism can be incorporated in stuff like policy making, legal services, clinical legal services, mental health, the right to vote, women, political aspects. Definitely feminism, you can't talk about human rights without invoking a bit of feminism into it. So definitely that was one thing that was highlighted towards me. One key takeaway I'm taking from this week is that there are different types of feminism, we have radical feminists, we have social feminists, and it really doesn't matter to what feminist type you are. One of the speakers this week, Honorable Dr. Jessie Kabwila, talked about how it doesn't matter to what feminist type you are, as long as you render your voice, your platform, the knowledge that you give towards helping someone else who can't use their voice to speak out, then you're doing it. Then that's it. That's all you need to do. Because I mean, if you really dwell on the statistics, if you really dwell much on exactly what type of feminist I am and what title I should ascribe to as a feminist, it definitely will hinder you. It definitely will box you up and not let your wings fly, basically. And moving forward, personally, in my journey as a passionate young leader who works who seeks to improve the lives of others, many others, especially young people, girls and women, I believe I'll definitely incorporate feminism into different aspects of my advocacy journey. I won't close it up and put it in a rigid box to just say this is exactly only for feminists or feminism, I mean, and this isn't for feminism, because alternatively I have learned that feminist issues are everywhere. They're in our environment, they're in our culture. They describe different aspects, and I definitely will involve that and educate others, especially young women.
Hello everyone, my name is Nam Muhango. The new knowledge that I didn't know and I've gained it this week is that reading a newspaper and listening to news is of good use, because you can be able to argue with people based on the facts that you know. And takeaway that I have learned this week is that education is really a key to success. If you have all the education papers, you can be able to reach for every position that you want in an organization, be it institution or wherever, whatever position that you want, you can be able to attend for it, because you have all the papers, all the qualifications and all the requirements for you to attend that job. And the other key takeaway for this week is that never settle for less. As a human being or a woman or a man, you can be able to achieve everything that you have wanted in your life, as long as you maintain to fight for the edge, that you should never settle for the little things that you have, but you should be able to do the things that you want and be able to achieve what you want in life, because there's nothing impossible that a person cannot do. Everything is possible if you have all the courage, the energy to do what you want and to fight for it. And you should never settle for the breadcrumbs. Yeah. And this knowledge, I can be able to use it by helping the girls, the women who are facing some violence in the society or the household, by guiding them in one way or the other of their rights, and being able to tell them that they, as a human being, as a woman, they can be able to enjoy and participate in everything that a man is also able to do. Yeah, there should always be equality in everything. That's all that I can say, and that's all. And thank you.